Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to take a look at Bunker Punks. It's developed by Ninja Robot Dinosaurs and is available on Steam's Early Access at the regular price around $15 USD. I've been enjoying Bunker Punks over the last 4 hours or so, and it's an interesting little title that combines classic FPS with more modern roguelikes or roguelites, whatever you want to call it, right? It has unlimited ammo. There's no reloading or anything like that. It's not unlimited ammo, sorry. There is limited ammo. It's all about your ammo count, actually. But there is no reload, and there's no regenerating health or regenerating shields, and there's no iron sights or anything like that. It plays very much like a classic FPS, say Wolfenstein or Doom or maybe Blakestone, and even kind of looks like those games, right? We'll show you that once we jump into the game, of course. Now, it also features permadeath as well as randomly generated levels as well as loot, much like, you know, the things that you would expect from roguelikes or roguelites, you know. So it's an interesting little combination, and I think it kind of works for this game anyway. So let's jump into the game so we can explore more of it, of course. Now, when you first start the game, you'll be greeted with a Choose Your Punk selection screen. And you have a variety of different characters, and there's a lot more to be unlocked, as you can see. Originally, you're started off with Mollipop and Dallas Beach, but I've unlocked Cleopatra Rex as well as Royce Hall. And the only differentiating factor between each character is actually just their base stats, you know, whether it be their HP, their shields, their speed, or their initial weapon proficiency, if you will. They'll get a little extra bonus, right? This one will give you an extra bonus to melee, this lady will give you a bonus to rifles, etc, etc. And that's all well and good, and it's nice that we can choose different characters and all that jazz, but unfortunately, because this is an FPS, you don't even see your character, choosing them based on aesthetical reasons is kind of moot, right? And there's no like special abilities to differentiate each other from one another, and because you can collect upgrades and different weapons as you progress through the game to kind of match your play style, each character at the end of the day, when you especially dive into the later on dungeons in your run, they'll kind of start melding into just one character. So basically any character can become any other character because it's all just base stats that differentiates one another, right? So yeah, it's nice that you can choose different characters, but it's also, the selection is kind of boring because of all these reasons, right? So that's my first criticism of this game, but otherwise I have been enjoying it, just to emphasize that point, and of course we'll talk more about that. But anyways, let's choose Cleopatra Rex and Dallas Beach because I like rifles, and Dallas Beach because, actually I don't want Dallas Beach, I want Mollipop because of her initial speed bonus. Anyways, new game, there we go. Alright, we're going to go into our first dungeon. And let's shoot some baddies, like these guys, so they don't explode in our face. And this guy too. They're all assholes, you want to kill all of them. And let's blow up some of these crates here to see if we can get any loot out of them, like that helmet. Now let's talk about the graphics a little bit while we're here, hey? As you can see, it does very much look like a classic FPS, such as Blakestone or Wolfenstein or Doom, those kind of games, you know. As you can see, the enemies, the sprites, even the props, they're actually 2D sprites on a 3D environment. So again, very reminiscent of classic FPSs, right? Even the textures are done in a very pixelated fashion, similar to the look of classic FPSs. The environment itself is actually rendered in 3D, but in a low polygon look to again resemble the likes of classic FPSs. Anyways, let's progress through the map here and not get damaged, which we just did. Now, as you can see, there's no reload and there's no iron sight. It's all about run and gun and shoot and aim. And so you kind of want to be careful about your ammo counts, because if you run out, then you're kind of screwed. And you kind of want to blow up these containers to get the loot out of them. Just then I collected credits, which you can use to upgrade your headquarters, which we'll explore more of when we get an opportunity. But for the time being, let's kill some more baddies so we don't die. Here I am showing off my awful aim. There's a lot of run and gun in this game, right? So all is circle strafing. Again, kind of similar to classic FPSs, if you will. It's very fast paced, as you can see. And all that kind of jazz, which is great, of course. But let's progress through the next level here, in which it is randomly generated, by the way, which I think I've already mentioned. But something interesting about the randomly generated levels, right? And again, this is kind of a common thing for most roguelikes, because, you know, they mostly feature randomly generated maps and stuff like that. You kind of don't get the memorable maps that you get from, say, Doom or Wolfenstein. You know, who can forget the first level of Doom, right? Because it's randomly generated, it's nice that there's, you know, potentially unlimited replay value, but you don't get that nice, memorable level design. And there's also no, like, hidden rooms that you find in classic FPSs like Doom or Wolfenstein. You know, you can check the walls all you like. You're not going to get a secret room in this game, which is a bit unfortunate. It would have been a nice little extra feature that they could have carried over from its classic FPS inspiration, which is something that I would have liked to see from this game. Maybe it'll be in a future update. This is in early access after all, but it is kind of a obvious omission from this game, considering that, again, from its inspiration of classic FPSs. But anyways, let's progress on through the next level, because we just finished the first floor. Each dungeon is comprised of multiple floors. This one is 2, so let's quickly finish this one up here, so I can show you what happens when we reach the headquarters. Anyways, let's kill some of these guys right now. Currently, we only have 1 weapon slot available, but later on, you can upgrade and get more weapon slots, so you can carry more than 1 weapon, which is something that you want. But let's see, we got a new upgrade here. Do we want it? Our current one gives us a bonus in shields and rockets, whereas the new one will give us a bonus in pistols and shotguns. Seeing how I don't really want to use pistols or shotguns, we will keep our current one, because I actually do like the rocket launcher in this game if we can find it. Alright, let's kill some of these guys here. You let them get too close to you, they'll explode in your face, which is not something that you want. Let's see here. Blow up this thing, why not? Kill this guy from a distance. And avoid those bullets, because bullets are bad for your health if you don't know. Kill all these guys. There's no iron sights in this game, as you can see. It's, again, all run and gun. Again, resembling the likes of classic FPS. Now, something that this game does do a little bit different from classical FPSs like Doom or Wolfenstein and that kind of stuff is that there is a actual vertical axis. You know, there's a Y-axis. Whereas in the old school FPSs, there's only horizontal, right? Which is actually, you know what, I think is appropriate. You know, we are playing in modern times. These are things that we expect. And honestly, I think the game is better for having the Y-axis, right? Anyways, let's keep killing these dudes here. You kind of want to grab the items before they disappear, because they do disappear kind of quickly, just like that, which I think is a good idea. It really does kind of push the character into, you know, wanting to pick up the items, you know, move from one area to another more than maybe they would want to. It basically adds a sort of a risk-reward kind of mechanic, right? Do you want to risk going to this area to pick up this item before it disappears? Or do you want to stay in your current position for the sake of safety, right? So I think having the items disappear relatively quickly was actually a smart decision that keeps the action moving, right? So anyways, let's move to the headquarters, where I can explain a little bit of the metagame in this game. So we're in the bunker right now, our headquarters, where we can upgrade different aspects of our characters, of course. So over here, this is an empty slot, this is an empty slot, and this is also an empty slot. Originally, you'll only be given 2 empty slots, but I've upgraded to 3. But for the time being, let's upgrade this one here to a firing range, which will give us an increase to our weapon slots, and allowing us to, you know, have more than 1 weapon, have 2 weapons, which is not a bad thing. So in the firing range, we have 3 sub-slots in this one I guess, slot, this one bunker here. And we will choose an increase to rifle damage and an increase to explosive damage, because I like both of those things. And over here we will upgrade it into an infirmary, which will give us a 5 health bonus each time we move from floor to floor, which is not a bad thing. And in the subcategories we will upgrade, let's see, punks heal when they do combos. I'm 10 credits away from getting that, which is a bit unfortunate because this is a really nice one. And those green things that I've been collecting, they're credits, and that's what we're using to upgrade the bunker. And you can also collect tech, which is another currency, which we'll explore more about that when we get the opportunity, of course. But for the time being, let's upgrade. Let's see, increase max health of each punks. Let's increase the effectiveness of each health pickup. And increase our rifle damage one more time. And move on to the next level. And over here, we can select to which map that we will raid, essentially. Let's see. I guess it doesn't really matter. We do kind of have to be mindful of where the paths will lead. So you can kind of base your decision on that as well. Let's just go to this one. Why not? And we will use Cleopatra because I'm a big fan of rifles, and she gets an initial bonus to rifles, so why not? Alright, so let's keep moving forward here. We're in dungeon number 2. And obviously, the dungeons will progressively get harder and harder with each one that you progress through, as you would expect with these kind of games. Oh, some credit, that's good. And that guy's right in our face. Let's kill this guy nice and quick, just like that. Bam, bam, bam. And this guy, die, yeah. Let's see, this hat will give us a bonus to explosives, while the one that we're wearing gives us a bonus to pistols and shotguns, which we're not using either. And I'm looking for a rocket launcher, so we'll take the new hat, why not? Kill some of these guys. Oh, there's a lot of them. You're definitely going to want to make use of circle strafing in a game like this. It's definitely a good way to avoid incoming bullets, as you would expect. Oh, this one gives us a bonus to rifles. We'll take that one. There we go. And let's see. Let's move on to the next map. The next area of the map, I should say. We kill some of these guys here. There we go. Ooh, there's our rocket launcher. See, now we have two weapons, right? Not just one, which is great. I do love me the rocket launcher, I gotta say. Now, you don't really have to be too conservative with your ammo. You actually get ammo pretty easily in this game. It's a pretty common drop. But you know, I wouldn't recommend going completely willy-nilly, but at the same time, if you see an opportunity to use the rocket launcher, go ahead and use it, because just like that, my ammo is completely full, right? So let's see, we will keep our current suit and move on to the next map. Just like that, next floor. So far so good, so far so good.
Make way for Cleopatra.
Let's take care of some of these guys here. So I gotta say, overall, I've been really enjoying Bunker Punks. I really have. I think there's a lot of really interesting things about the game, you know? I like how well they've captured the old school classic FPS feel, you know, both in its mechanics as well as its visuals and its presentation, right? It's all done very well. It keeps to its concept very well. And, you know, the pixel art is pretty good as well. You know, the sprites are nice, and, you know, they captivates the spirits and look of the classic FPS very well, as I mentioned earlier. And, yeah, it's very enjoyable for these reasons. But mix it in with kind of roguelike elements, you know, the procedural generation, the way that you can, you know, get new loot and slowly progress your game and all that kind of stuff. It could lead to potentially an endless game that has potentially endless replay, right? Much like a lot of the roguelikes that's available on the market. That's really one of its biggest selling points for roguelikes in general. One of the biggest features of roguelikes or roguelites. Its potential in unlimited replay value. Now, you know, it does come with a cost. You know, the idea of unlimited replay value is a little bit exaggerated, not in just this game, but also in all roguelikes and roguelites, in that even though every time that you play the game is a little bit different, it is using the same resources to keep things, you know, quote-unquote different, right? So even though there's a lot of subtle kind of differences each playthrough, it does still, ironically, become a little bit repetitive because, again, it's made up of the same kind of resources that you've seen over and over again. So as you can see, the enemy variety isn't the greatest. We've been kind of fighting the same enemies over and over and over again. And you won't really see more new different types of enemies until you progress through higher dungeons, right? But even then, you're fighting harder enemies, but of the same type over and over again. And it would be nice if this game could mix it up with different types of enemies, with new different types of enemies. Even for a roguelike, you know, it's the best roguelikes have multiple different types of enemies that will be randomly generated into any given dungeon each run, instead of using the same enemies in different placements each run, right? So this game is still in early access. Maybe that'll be something that they can add, different enemy types for more random generation, right? That would be definitely something I think would be welcome. But anyways, let's progress through the next dungeon. Why not? We're doing pretty good so far. Let's use Cleopatra. Start run. Why not? Now, I actually kind of want to die in this one because I want to show you what tech does, what the tech currency does. Because there is a progression in this game, you know, that does actually carry on from each game. Even though there is permadeath in this game, this being a roguelike or roguelite, there is some progression that does carry on from game to game, and which is something I want to show, of course. So, kill me! Yeah! Blam blam! Ooh, so dangerous. So I'm just gonna wait for these guys to kill me. Oh, look! They actually have a hitbox on top of them. I didn't realize that. Okay, return to bunker. So, we just died, which is unfortunate, but also fortunate because we wanted to. We can actually progress to... We can keep progressing through our current run with our leftover character, which I guess we will have to in order for me to show you the next part that I want to show you, the tech that's involved with this game. But anyways,
this is Molly Pop.
Here's Molly Pop. She specializes in pistols, but I can load her out with a rifle. Like I said, the character selection, nice that's there, but it's kind of boring because they all end up playing exactly the same, right? Especially considering there's no special abilities. That's something else I'd like to see from this game. Each character having their own kind of special ability that maybe comes with a cooldown or something like that. You know, kind of Borderland-esque. Something to differentiate each character from one another besides their base stat. That would definitely be something I would like to see from this game. Anyways, we ran out of lives. Both our characters are dead. So now we're whisked away to the market, essentially. This is where you can purchase things that will carry on from game to game. Like right here, I can get a new, different kind of rifle, the hunting rifle. So this doesn't spawn in our game currently, but if we spend 200 tech, that will start randomly spawning into our game. There's a new kind of rifle, probably plays like a sniper rifle. We can also get the gunslinger's boots, or maybe the gunslinger's hat, right? And these are items that currently won't spawn in our game, but if we pick it up here with our tech, the next game we play, these will potentially spawn in, right? Or over here, we can get a new shotgun and some more new equipments. Over here, we can get a new character, a new punk, which we will do now. We can also get a new upgrade to our bunker, which we will do. We can recruit an additional punk, which we will definitely take. Man, this is some good stuff here. Oh, we can unlock special attacks. Not implemented. The buffs currently are pickups. Okay, so there are special abilities, apparently. Something I didn't know about. But you have to pick it up in its current form in its early access. So from the sounds of it, it looks like maybe they're implementing some kind of special ability per character. It looks like it is something that they do have in plan. But currently, in its current version, there is none until I just picked it up, right? So that's the kind of stuff that you can get with your tech. Again, these are things that will spawn into your next game. You'll improve your current next game. You'll improve your bunker. It'll improve your character selection, as you can see here. Pistol Pro with good armor, and all this kind of stuff, right? So let's see. Let's just pick. Why not? Let's just go into a new game. And that's essentially Bunker Punks. It's a pretty good game so far, I gotta say. You know, overall, I really enjoy it. You know, I would definitely like to see the game expanded on. Again, new different types of enemies to fight. Even being a roguelike and all that, it'd still be nice if we get different types of low-end enemies to fight in the first few levels and some new high-end enemies to fight at the later levels, right? That would be kind of neat. I'd also like to see an inclusion of secret rooms, you know, stuff that we would often find in classic FPS such as Wolfenstein, Blakestone, Doom, examples that I've already given 100,000 times, but you know, it just seems like a very, very obvious omission that this game has, which is a bit unfortunate. It would definitely add a little bit of intrigue into its level design, and also maybe new level types as well, instead of the same green wall over and over and over again. So some new environments that could potentially generate would also be welcomed, I think. And definitely the level or the character selection could use a little bit of work. You know, I would like to see each character have a little bit something deeper to differentiate themselves besides their base stats. You know, some new special abilities or something of that sort, or I don't know, something like that, right? These things would definitely help differentiate the characters on a more, I guess, a deeper level than just base stats, in which again will end up often becoming the same character at the end when you're, you know, talking about the meta and all that stuff. But these are things I would like to see, you know, improved on, of course. But overall, the action is there. You know, the control feels nice, and the gameplay feels very, very. What's that word I'm looking for? It's very close to its inspiration, right? It does a good job at taking elements from classical FPSs and putting it into a roguelike format, right? And if you're looking for that kind of game, Bunker Punks is doing a very good job of that, you know? It even has the graphical stylings of classical FPSs, and I think it's pulled it off very, very well. So overall, it's a very good game. Even in its very early access form, it's very playable, and I have no problem recommending this game at its $15 price point. I think it's absolutely worth it, even in its very early state. I'm having a good time with it, absolutely. And hopefully the game will only get better. This game being in early access and all that, right? So yeah, there you go. Bunker Punks, definitely a worthwhile little game, I have to say. And we're out of ammo, which is not good. I'm not even sure what to do now without any ammunition. Just run away? I don't even know. Here's another thing. What happens when you run out of ammo with only one weapon? I can't attack anything. So that's another thing. That's might be a little bit of a problem. Just a little heads up. But there you go, guys. Bunker Punks. Definitely not a terrible game. Not a terrible game at all. Especially considering that this is in early access. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you folks enjoyed. Hopefully you folks found this informative. And if you did, you know, show me some love. Like, share, favorite, and comments. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll bring you lots more video games just like this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Alder shout out.